anticipation from these players, but revealing the legend, of course, we had to anticipate it. The Draven will be revealed for player number 1, but what is under the hood for the other player? Do we have an Aurelia? Do we have the lone Fiora? We're going to be finding out shortly, and he looks intense. He looks like he's a bit nervous, but shaking out the nerves, and it will be the Fiora. There we go.
Let's go. We got the Fiora, guys. I mean, what can we ask for? That's just perfect.
Yeah, perfect. The lone Fiora, and we see why he was trying to calm his nerves, trying to get himself locked into the moment, because he has every hope on it. He has everyone's hopes on his back. He's saying, I have to showcase that the Fiora from last regional, it wasn't a fluke. A Fiora here in Chengdu can get it done one more time, and it looks to rather be a bit of a traditional Draven build with the Reaver's Row getting revealed. And I love this battlefield, Leroy, the Triferian War Camp, allowing it to make it a bit easier to hit those mighty threshold status conditions. So these are good turn ones, I want to say, or good game 1 battlefields.
Yeah. Especially since there are not that many decks in this meta that actually take a big advantage of playing on that Trifarian War Camp. So yeah, Fiora will be queen with this battlefield.
Yeah, you know, having your cards retreat from Reaver's Row usually wouldn't feel that bad. But when you're going up against a Draven, you still end up winning a combat. Very similar how Fight or Flight or Rebuke works. So Reaver's Row not really going to be benefiting Fiora. But as we said, the seeding in these top cut doesn't matter. So these guys are going to be deciding who's on the play and who's on the draw with the dice roll. And by the sound of things, it almost looks like the Fiora player won on the play, because he feels he wasn't excited about things. But we saw kind of a little bit of a flinch, if you will, from the Draven players. So hopefully Draven, or I should say, hopefully Fiora might just be on the play.
And we got some turn 2. We've got the unsung hero, right? Yeah, and Pete Rookie and the set. So there are some good cards to start. And yeah, I was always expecting it. Probably going to mulligan one unsung hero. Oh, thinking about sending something else, maybe. My bet was one unsung hero.
I think so. I'm right there with you. One Unsung Hero seems like the proper mulligan. Set Brawl is such a pivotal card to your game plan. Unsung Hero, as you mentioned, is an early unit to play out on your opening turn. So I like the Pit Rookie. You get some buffs online. You make it easier to hit the Mighty with Trifarian War Camp as well. But of course, Set Brawler is your key piece. As soon as you play him on the board, you're going to be hitting the Fiora Legend ability. And of course, he's just an impressive unit to deal with. But we saw a card that could pose some problems for Fiora, that Falling Star. If the chosen champion for Fiora is going to be Fiora worthy, which we're seeing right here on the screen, the Falling Star might be the perfect card to pick off that Fiora nice and early, now allowing him to push the pace as fast as he wants. But it is time, the round of top 16, Draven versus the final Fiora remaining. Can they get it done? Can they move on forward into the top 8 and push another Fiora off the back of the Fuzhou Regional into a second top 8 finish for Fiora? Because there needs to be a bit more respect, and it will be the play for Fiora, developing out a nice little unsung hero to start us off.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and we top deck that Troll Chen, that Call of Glory, goddammit. That Call of Glory.
We could call it Tro Champ. I'm sure people will understand it. But Call to Glory Tro Champ, as those Legends of Runeterra players would maybe be familiar with, that was just the name in Legends of Runeterra. So either Leroy calls it Tro Champ, you guys know it as Call to Glory. Virtually, we know what it does. So stack deck starting things off in the 1-2 combo that Draven players love to do. Stack deck into the Noxus Hopeful. That is a great opening as well.
Exactly, and that will directly match and overcome that unsung heroes might be. Oh, there is the One Punch Man card. This being said, I mean, the Fiora player could use potentially that troll chant to let's forget that troll chant to um, buff the unsung hero,
Mm-hmm.
but the issue would be that you would not like to spend your card that early into the battle.
Yeah, I mean, at the bare minimum, you're going to be drawing two for using that Call to Glory on Unsung Hero. So it's not the biggest L to do nice and early on, but the Pit Rookie followed by the second Pit Rookie, going to be getting a +2 buff virtually on splitting those buffs up, one on the Unsung, one on the Pit Rookie. Does he decide to conquer? Because he doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold against the Noxus Hopeful, but of course, Reaver Row seems like a good idea. But is it really the best idea? Because we're talking about going against a Draven player. You're completely tapped out. Noxus Hopeful can just simply push in. Not only do you have enough might, but if you retreat from Reaver's Row, you're giving Draven a draw. How do we feel about this conquer, Leroy?
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite of what the Ezreal player did on his game, where he would accept to not get any point, to not give Draven more draws. And here, Fiora is choosing the opposite, but I think Fiora needs more tempo, so that makes sense. And she is like, I will get that point, and you can get that draw, but I need my points right now.
You know, something I could consider is, as we mentioned, there is a Call to Glory hand. Perhaps this Draven player underestimates the Unsung Hero. You have a buff in the back line. Unsung Hero could get buffed up to 6 total might. So it's going to have to force Draven to let go of a bit more resources in the hand. Whether he has a spinning axe might be the perfect card to bring the hopeful up to 7, allowing him to win. Perhaps he's saying, you know what? I'm baiting you to come in for the Reaver's Row. You think it's an easy combat win? I'm going to make it a bit tougher for you to take it down. We're seeing in the hand, there's a falling star for the 2 Pit Rookies in the back. It does come at a decently hefty cost, being the double power. You don't have the luxury of playing things like Kaiser, but he smells the bait, Leroy. He's saying, you know what? I don't like the potential of a Call to Glory. Let's go over to the other battlefield. Play it safe. I don't necessarily need the draw right now, and does go up a single point for himself. Now I'm curious to see if the Draven is going to be established out, and it looks like he picked it up as we said it. And oh, I like this directly onto the Trifering. That is interesting.
Yeah, you want to ensure that you're unlocking a battlefield, um, and Reverse Row is probably easier to retake. Now, there's one thing that I thought about, which was if he's playing like that, that means he doesn't have any arcs, because else it would be so easy for him to retake the other battlefield. But maybe he's doing this to bait that he does not have an axe, and that his opponent thinks that too. And then in the end, he still has one. You see what I mean? Like some mind games, high level mind games.
Yeah, and at this high level, mind games could make the difference by the end of the game. So Fiora does get triggered thanks to that set brawler coming down, as we said at the beginning of the turn. But now the question stands, is there any world where you want to try to contest to just try to take one of these units out? Because you have a double Pit Rookie. You could be swinging in for, I believe, 4+3 going up to 7. Draven would just be defending, I believe, at 7 as well. Do you just try to take at least a 2-for-1? I think you're just too scared to hit, and I think he's thinking about his turn. Unsung Hero, you can leave him there. It's very rare for perhaps something like a Kaiser, because Kaiser's just a 4 might unit, just like the Noxus Hopeful was. So you're in that same position you were the previous turn. So plays it patiently, sitting on the 2 Pit Rookies in the back, and passes it over to the Draven player. So this is going to be close, but as it stands, one player is getting to 8 before the other, and that player is going to be Fiora if they're going to play this whole game throughout the remaining of this match.
Exactly. And you're happy to just let your unsung hero here. If it dies and you powered it up before, you get that clustered roll. So yeah, the situation is not that bad overall for Fiora. You've got this set that is ready to get in with a bajillion might and apply a lot of threat on that battlefield with the the One Punch Man in the hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely has the big old punch first available to him. So let's see what this Draven wants to do, because of course he has to push the pace here. He has to understand in that point tempo lead he is behind. So he has to find a way, not just this turn, but within the next couple turns, to try to conquer away that battlefield from Fiora. It's not that crazy. It's only Unsung Hero. With the Call to Glory, you do go up to 6. So if he had something like a Darius, follow that up with a second play, that could just be exactly what he needs to get over the Unsung Hero. But he doesn't have the most amount of runes, since we're basically still the early to mid game so far. So it looks like he's leaning on the Kaiser Survivor. It looks to be at the top of his hand.
Yeah, I guess. Something. I mean, you still have that falling star, but maybe you don't want to pay the power cost right now.
Yeah,
You're
it would
not
set you
in
back.
any.
Do you feel like it's worth it? A falling star on the set? I mean, we know
That's
what's in hand, right? So it wouldn't truly be worth it, because Call to Glory can save it. But if you don't know what's in hand, oh,
yeah. I
he's
think
going for
that's
it.
pretty good.
Double target set brawler, doing a total of 6 damage on that back line. But as we just said, there is a Call to Glory that's a +3 reaction speed, allowing the falling star to virtually get away with nothing of value. I think that's the only
Yeah.
play you can't counter it. So taking the buff off the pit rookie, and that is a big swing, because as you said, it's very expensive. That was 2 Fury runes removed from the rune deck, or removed from the base, I should say, from that runes. So it came at a big price, and it gets you nothing for that. So that was a big thing, because now you have 4 runes remaining, and you're only going to be going up to 6 runes the following turn.
Yeah, and you're not. Sorry, go.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm curious to see how he closes out this turn.
Yeah, you don't have. I was just gonna say you're not. You're not Kaisa. You don't have those little stupefy or something else to reduce the set might and get him down. Um, and the thing that's really interesting is that he had that buffed pit rookie, which allowed him to use the troll chant, the Call of Glory, on the pit rookie's buff and not on set buffs, which means set will still be able to spend his buff and get to +4 might whenever he wants.
All right, doesn't like the look of the set brawler coming in potentially onto the Trifarian War Camp, so retreats everything and develops out a Kaiser Survivor. And you know, I'm seeing a couple questions in the chat. Is there any penalties to slow play? Traditionally there is, right? But keep in mind, guys, this is the top 16. There's a whole lot on the line, so there's actually untime. If you pay attention to the timer in the middle of the screen, the timer is ticking upwards, right? So these players are just trying to take full advantage of the untimed rules. So perhaps don't blame the player, blame the game they're currently playing, because those are the rules. So they have a lot more lenient room, a lot more leniency, if you will, in regards to the time. So that's why the judges aren't stepping in. If this was Swiss, I will agree with you guys that the Draven player is playing a tad slow. But in this situation, given that it's top 16, we'll let it slide, right? Or the judges would let it slide.
Yeah. And looking at we played since the beginning, I think he will send the pit rookie here to get the point. And wow.
Yeah, did you see that card in hand, Leroy? That was
I totally
insane.
saw that card in hand. Oh, and
Guys, I don't
someone in
know
the
if you
chat
guys
just
caught
asked if
it.
it was Fiora. Well, you got your run square.
And we see why the Trifarian War Camp is able to do even more work than expected. Pit Rookie going to be sacrificed at 3. So you're able to reveal a Matron off the top, Action off the top.
You got so many. You got two good choices. And if you play that Matron, you can reactivate the Pit Rookie and yeah, buff something else. And by doing this, you know what's the most important part?
What is it?
That he killed the Pit Rookie that was on the battlefield, and that he will deny Draven another combat.
Ah, very well said. Exactly right. Exactly how the other players been playing around Draven, not giving those easy combats. But I like the action coming down. If you pay the additional 2 costs, you should be able to steal the Edge of Night. Is that worth your 2 order runes? It looks like he's thinking it might just very well be. So paying 2 or
Actually, it will be only 1 rune because it gets mighty, and then you can activate Fiora's ability.
oh well, no, I meant for stealing an equipment.
Yeah, but because you do that, you can activate the Fiora's
Oh, I know
ability.
exactly what you mean. Of course, yeah, it's effectively just like you're doing one because you gained one back. So yeah, it technically
Yeah,
only takes out a single room because Fiora does recycle one back onto the base. So good stuff. This Action put it in work because the Edge of Night is a nice little card, right? Action swinging in for +2 now. So 6 total might, and you're able to send in the other pit rookie to conquer up to 5. But I wouldn't blame them to keep it on the even side of things. 4-2, you're feeling comfortable, you're in the lead. So Fiora doing work with that baited hook. Who would have expected the final Fiora remaining is gonna be a baited hook variant, right? We saw some cheeky cards there. The Harness Dragon. What else did we see off that baited hook? The Matron. So much spice
Matron.
coming out.
Yeah, and I was so focused on. I was still baffled by the fact that okay, he just played the baited hook on Fiora, and look at the board that he has right now.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy. Buff set, 1 pit rookie, that unsung hero that is buffed also, the action with the Edge of Night, and to top it all, the Fiora that can ready any of them if they go mighty. That's just insane value. And now you're at 4, so you can confidently push in everything, and in 2 rounds, you log that game potentially, because once you've conquered, you can just kill the units and not give Draven that extra draw, not give Draven that extra value.
Oh yeah, 100%. Fiora feeling in a commanding position. The board state is night and day. Not completely. Draven isn't 100% behind. It feels like whenever you do have a Kaiser and a Draven and a Hopeful, those are some significant numbers, right? You have 6 potential and then 4. So a collective total of about 14 might give or take. And then he still has some runes to work with on this turn. But you know, he did already expend 1 Falling Stars. It looks like he might be going for another. If that's the top of his hand, it looked like it might just be. So Falling Star using the remaining of his Fury runes. And it looks to be some good targets. The best target being the Fiora Worthy. And it looks like a Fiora player was just like, you're probably taking these two, aren't you?
Yeah. That feeling start coming in clutch, because um that the Fiora was such in a commanding position, and that's a huge step back. But the Draven is now again on 4 runes, and Fiora will be up to 8. So, and now, oh, more interesting. Draven does not have any Fury runes, so he cannot activate the Draven's passive ability.
Yeah, that's something to be very considerate for the Draven player, and something Fiora could keep in mind for these potential conquers on the next turn. As you said, you don't get that nice +2 that a lot of Draven players rely on. You do have access to something like Rebukes if you do have that in hand. It looks like he has a single Rebuke. He's kind of flipping through those cards a little bit too fast. Fight or Flight is what I'm seeing, and I think that's all I can make tell of, but I think it's a Rebuke of Fight or Flight. Perhaps a Treasure Hunter that he. Oh, I think it's Treasure Hunter, Titan, or Fight or Flight, and a Rebuke is what I'm
Yeah, I
seeing.
think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And by now, like, okay, say your opponent uses Rebuke, you're you're not happy, but you don't even care about giving him more draws, because 4 runs, what can he do? He can't even play 2 cards in 1 turn. So, uh, yeah, the, the Fiora is starting to be in a good lead, I think.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It seems rather closer than it seems, of course, though. But Fiora now getting passed over Draven, leaving at least those 2 runes for the card we said. Something like the Fight or Flight, something like the Rebuke. If you rebuke the action, you do get your Edge of Night back, so he has to be careful about that. But ooh la la, Leroy, I'm
Oh,
seeing an
that was
even
that.
better card getting
That's the
picked off
final
from the
blade in the
top.
coffin.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
yeah, incredible
that's
top deck there.
yeah. And you've got that hidden blade, right? So you could kill one of the card with the baited hook and kill the other one with the hidden blade, get that +2 draw. Deny again any combat to the Draven. Uh yeah, no, that's really good for Fiora right now.
Yeah, because there's only 2 runes at the ready, right? So anything that comes down will be repulsed from Fiora players. So feeling decent about this turn. Now the question stands, this baited hook, you always want to try to get value every single turn. Do you dare just send your pit rookie into Triferian and try to look for a 4 cost, something like the Matron, perhaps even another action to just play out? I know there's no equipment on your opponent's board, but just to kind of get a better replacement for that pit rookie, because you are able, actually I don't think you're able to play it onto a battlefield, so it would go for the base. So I think the
Yeah,
best
but
hits would be, or you are able to play the base or to battlefield? I thought you couldn't.
um I'm not sure. No, what I wanted to say is that you don't even want to play it on the battlefield because of
Draven, right?
there even so you're happy having all of your units in base
Yeah, I
and
think
dancing
so.
around like a certain pit crew did uh last game.
Mm-hmm. Reaver's Row will be activated, of course, so going up to 5 points and setting things up for that 6-point conquer for Fiora. You know, the only thing holding Fiora back, I will say, is her lack of card power in the hand right now. 3 total cards, one of them being Riposte, so you have it as a counter option, but it doesn't look like you have any more units to work with. You do have to get rather lucky off this baited hook, so baited hook will be targeting the pit rookie as it did before. So you sacrifice a 3 unit, you're looking for something with 4 might or less. Oh, a matron
Oh, the
though, okay.
matron. Yeah, there's no way you're picking anything else than the matron, right?
Yeah, we were saying
Oh, you
he's
put it.
lacking
Oh, there
some
was a
units.
first mate. There was a first mate, so maybe you could have considered the first mate to get back your set in base, but is on the reverse roll, so that's just one more draw that you give to Draven. It's not that big of a deal compared to the power of the matron coming online.
It is true, but perhaps he wants to just try to hold it down on the Reaver's Row, at least bait the hold down, because he does have something like a Reaver's Row, and I'm seeing the synergy here. For some reason, I was like, oh, he can get by the pick rookie, but of course, the
Yeah.
Fiora worthy hit the
Oh,
trash
bro.
from the Falling Star. That is pretty much the best unit you can get back in this moment, but I guess not the best because you don't have a follow-up play, right? You don't have something like a set brawler to keep online, but it is a good card nonetheless for something like a next turn situation. So it does go up to 6 because you conquer both, and leaves the set brawler because you had no other option to bring it back. But 3 cards in hand, if you remember right, it was the Riposte, the Call to Glory, and then there was one more card that it fades me what it was. But things are looking good, but I will say not incredible for Fiora. Things could kind of slip away from this Fiora player. It doesn't look like she's in a super good position, but it ends up being like, what does she end up drawing the next turn? AKA also, what is Draven going to be able to do this turn? Because he should be able to go up to 5. And what kind of defenses is he able to hold up for that final 6th to 8th push? Because we saw the rebukes, we saw the fighter flights, and I think there might even be a ride the win to get a backline unit or another battlefield unit over to another battlefield. So there's some combat tricks there. This Draven not out of it whatsoever.
And you could choose to, I think he's got a hidden blade, so you could choose to stay on the battlefield, force some resources from the Draven, and yeah, if you get fight or flighted, you can use the hidden blade behind, and
Oh, Leroy,
from
I'm
here.
impressed. He's deciding to hold his ground. He's saying, I
Yeah.
have the set brawler. My unit is at 5 might. Your unit's going up to 6. Do you have any little bit more buffs to take down my call to glory? We saw the rebuke at the very worst, but perhaps you're trying to bait out those big spells on the defense rather than when you have to push in, because you want set brawler in hand. You have a Fiora worthy, you play out the set, it gets ready on the exact same turn, and that was the third card, the punch first, going up to 10 total might, and he still has a call to glory. No wonder he's holding
Is
firm.
does he have a call to glide? I thought it was a hidden blade and wait.
I think he might. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Maybe he did use the call to glory. I swear, I think maybe the call to glory was off the baited hook. You're totally right. One of them was the hidden blade.
Yeah, and what was what's the last card I thought?
Repose.
Repost. Oh yeah, so I think it's a hidden blade and not a call to glory, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a call to glory.
No, I think you're
Let's
right. If I remember right, I think it was a call to glory off the baited hook. I'm mistaking it. But a couple good options to try to take this set down. But like I said, the Fiora worthy proven a real worth in the situation, because if it does come down to it, rebuke feels okay, but not the best. So having to rely on fight or flight to send that to set pack in. But is this a worthy repose? Do you want to repose a simple
No,
fight or flight,
no,
or do you just take it?
no. I think you take it and you hidden blade so that your opponent does not win combat. I mean, it will still draw from the hidden blade, but you remove the Draven anyway, and your opponent does not win combat, and you're just happy from there.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, because the set brawler stays at 10 might for the remaining of the turn. You hidden blade, and either you give him a +1 draw for the win of the combat, or you give him a +2. So there's just a net difference of a single draw. So it's not the biggest of difference. So I do like what you said. If there is indeed a hidden blade, it might be the time to do it. Not only do you take down one of the more impactful cards, being the Draven. So he did
Oh,
an interesting repose and adding 2 additional might, so defending for a total of 12 might. Is this Draven just getting or is this set brawler getting a little bit too out of hand, even considering the couple backline units being pushed up on the follow-up?
now he has to use the rebuke definitely, but he will not have anything to play next turn. Basically, he will be almost completely tapped out, and yeah, that leaves Fiora in a decent position with everything she's got on the board, I guess.
Wait, did I mistake? I thought he only had 4 runes, or I guess he did have 4 runes. Or how much runes did he have before the rebuke? I feel like he didn't recycle properly, but the judges probably
No,
would have called it.
no, he recycled too, but he had a floating, so that's why he only
That's what
tapped
it
two.
was.
And there it is. And as we talked about, that will only leave uh, one draw difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so that you don't win the combat. But I guess the priority passes on over. It looks like he's considering a ride the win, but that wouldn't be the end of the world. You're completely
You
tapped
can't ride the
back.
win. Ride the win is action speed, right?
Oh, you're right. You can't. Well, your Draven still dies, but you can still ride the win into because the combat isn't completely
Yeah.
resolved.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. After the
Yeah, not ride the win Draven. Draven's dead. Draven is dead. I'm talking
yeah.
about ride the win so that you win the combat. So you ride the win, the Noxus Hopeful into it. But I still like my position as the Fiora player, because you have the set brawler and the Fiora 1-2 combo. All you need to do is conquer one battlefield, and the set brawler could do the remaining heavy lifting to get to that victory score on the next turn. I like this so far. There's only 2 runes available, and I see why Draven's taking his sweet time, because he might not see the winning line. I think things are starting to fall apart for Draven. He's not seeing it. The hidden blade does resolve. Let's see what are the 2 cards off the top, though.
Yeah. We saw that axe, which is really powerful if he wants to defend next turn. and a stack deck. So yeah, start turn, a stack deck, axe, and ride the wind.
It almost looked like you said pass the turn. That would have been a winning line already. I mean, you had to ride the wind to stop some kind of conqueror, but I think Draven's only out in this situation. You might just have to stack one battlefield right here, right now. If you kind of split the difference and split these battlefield might apart, I think it just makes it a whole lot easier for something like a set brawler, and that's just one unit. You still have to worry about a 6 might Action. You still have to worry about a 4 might Draven, and then the big card you definitely have to worry about is the potential 8 might set brawler coming your way onto one of these battlefields. So okay, does decide to split it because you do make it a bit harder, but if you go 5, 8, 9, you know,
hide the Tide Turner.
okay, I can see
You
a
hide the
world.
Tide Turner. You would be solo on rune, but do you have any choice? Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see that he picked that up. My bad.
It might have been off the 2 hits off the hidden blade. So hides the Tide Turner and overzealous fan. That is his final stance. He's saying, get through this, or I might end up winning it. But you know, you're only at 5, so you're not even going to be able to win on the following turn. Is there a world where Fiora says, okay, no, I feel like you take advantage of him having 0 runes available. You want to try your best to try to close things out in this very moment, don't you?
Yeah, I really think so.
Yeah, let's try to think it through as these players try to join us in and try to decide what is the winning line. Kai's is only at 4 might, and that's all she's staying. So that's a simple, straightforward math. It decides to throw the Action over there. More than likely, I would imagine.
Yeah, also you would deny the Tide Turner swap with Kaisa. But I think he will use it anyways on this turn.
Leroy, you know what card would go crazy right now that we saw Fiora players use last week?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The Barrage.
Yeah, imagine guys, if he had the Cannon Barrage, it would do -2 to everything on your opposing battlefield. So the Treasure Hunter would go down, and it can react to the Overzealous Fan activation. Of course, we're talking about the luckiest hit off the top of the deck, and this is of course a different Fiora deck, being that baited hook variant. So he probably doesn't run it, and I like this play. He's saying, you know what? You just have a single unit in base and you're only going to have 4 runes. Why am I going to risk it to go into Overzealous Fan, allowing you to get additional draw? Let's go ahead and stack.
Good luck with that.
What was that?
Good luck with that.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. Good luck with that. And you have a single Fury, and you can't even play a Darius. You can't even accelerate a Kaiser. You have a Tide Turner. You have a Ride the Wind and a Spinning Axe. That might be your best line. Ride the Wind into Spinning Axe, and I still don't think that's enough because that's going to be 7 plus 4, bringing you up to 12. Or I think if I did my math wrong, 4 is 11. And yeah, set brawler's at 5 plus 4, 9 plus the 6. You're already up to 15 plus the 3, already up to 9. I think Fiora has it 100% GG locked in. Unless I'm totally missing something, Leroy, which I'm seeing the hand right now. I don't think there's an out, but I could always be wrong, of course.
That would be 7, and he's got nothing else. No, I don't know. 7, say he has a fight or flight. He can fight or flight. Action.
True.
That would be 7. No, it's over. No, it's completely over.
Yeah, you know, I didn't keep in mind the combat tricks, right? But if you play a Rebuke or you play a Fight or Flight, you can't play one of the options I said, because the most might you can push in with will be that Spinning Axe plus Ride the Wind on the Noxus Hopeful over to that battlefield, because you could attack and then in your priority play Ride the Wind for the Noxus Hopeful and then Spinning Axe. But we just did the math. I just don't think it's enough. This Fiora player playing excellently in this game 1.
Oh yeah, no. Even if he fight or flights the action, and he has, if he has 6, if he had 6 runes, he could not make it happen. So yeah,
Yeah, just thinking carefully, but stuck between
Bye
a
bye,
bit of a
Draven.
rock and a hard
See ya.
place. Yeah, can't
No,
figure it
no
out.
hate, no hate to other player, guys. It's just the legend. Okay, let's
Yeah, it looks like it should be GG, but fair play to him. He just wants to feel it out. But there is a sign of a good player.
yeah.
Understands there is no winning line, so will save some time, concede, and that is GG. The fan favorite Fiora getting game number 1 of this top 16. Well done. I'm impressed. I would have never expected a baited hook Fiora making such a deep run in Top Cut. The game plan, it should be something like a Savage. You get rid of the Edge of Knights, you get rid of the spinning axe at action speed, right? So you're able to do it in combat. So things like Salvage, things like the Cannon Barrage that we just pulled up on the screen could be a bit of a difference maker going into this game number 2. And Mazu saying is this grand finals is reminiscent of the finals from Fuzhou, but we actually are in the top 16 rounds. We are just coming off of a win for the Fiora in game number 1, so the play will be going over to Draven. And trying to think of what Draven most likely going to be sideboarding. We saw Fiora, at least a lot of Fiora, especially this one being baited hook. They lean heavily on things like gears and equipment. If they have things like a thermal beam, that could be paying good dividends for the Draven player, because you get rid of the baited
You're
hook, you
totally
get rid of
right.
the BF sword, you get rid of the Doran's blade, so that's going to be something to keep in mind if he does have it. But it's tricky. I don't know too many Dravens playing Thermal Beam, but on paper, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it?
No, it does not. I think that would be a great play for Draven, definitely.
Yeah, so guys, let's go ahead and get things started. This is going to be top 16. Draven trying to bring us into that game number 3. But first things first, you got to get through the Fiora. And does play out and curve out quite nicely, as you tend to do with Draven. Going to be playing out a nice treasure hunter to start things off. Does Fiora have at least either a BF sword or an unsung hero? Wouldn't feel all that bad. But goes for the Fiora worthy, which seems to be a bit ambitious given the fact there were so many falling stars. But if you falling stars now for a single unit, that doesn't
Yeah.
feel the worst, does it?
Yeah, you're quite happy to see the falling star going so early in the game. No, I think you're happy. Yeah. My question is, now that it's not playing on Trifaria and Wacom, do you think there's a world where he does like those hybrid aura players and he just cut the
baited?
the baited hook and maybe the matron and so on, so that
I think the deck in general is built around the baited hooks, if I'm being
yeah,
honest. So I don't think he
I
completely
think so.
cut
I
them.
don't. Yeah.
I think just the Trifair and War Camp enabled the strategy more effectively, right? So I think with the cards we mentioned before, with the equipment increases on might, you still get decent value from the baited hooks. And Leroy, if he had a set brawler, that would be so devastating for Draven. He's completely tapped out. But in this situation, it looks like Draven is fortunate to
Did he
miss the set
forget?
brawler.
He forget the runes from the Dragon Speak.
True. The judges
Forgot.
did not give it to him, because 2 would have made a difference. Even if it was a set brawler, if you had things like a spinning axe to keep up, that would be exactly the might you need. But Fiora having to do the only place she can, going to be conquering up to Dreaming Tree, getting a point herself. But I like this play so far from the Draven player, because you do have a good strong board presence. Even the Fiora in the back line can't take down both the Overzealous Fan and Noxus Hopeful in one. But I would expect that treasure hunter to retreat just for the simple gold. But he's almost thinking about retreating everything. But no, keeps it straightforward at the minimum for just that treasure hunter for now.
Yeah. Good for him. Did not get punished for forgetting the trigger. He could have like Darius, and because we didn't see his hand, but we could have Darius and stack deck and remove this Fiora. Potentially even an accelerated Kesa would do the job.
Yeah, that
You
could be the
are
jump. That's one more might than the worthy, but I'm seeing a good amount of cards on Fiora, and we haven't been revealed to the casters just yet. So 5 cards. One of them, if it is gonna be something like a punch
oh
first. Oh, that is
no.
right. The Ferris Forerunner coming out to play. And that is a really tough card to deal with, whether you deal with it alone or you have to deal with the former or the latter, I should say, the 2 mech tokens getting played out after the defeat. Things are not looking good. You have a challenge, but you just don't have good challenge targets with your units so far. So we're seeing a bit of the lack of game plan, if you will, coming from Fiora. It looks like things aren't really flowing as smoothly as they did in game 1.
Definitely. I mean, when you rely a lot on a baited hook and you're not drawing it, it never helps. Uh, this being said, right now she's got plenty of time to take back that battlefield. It's just that she's lacking some proactive play, I think, and some board to develop. Some she would like also to buff that Fiora. I'm not sure that she's got what is required to do so.
It would be nice, something like a simple Pit Rookie or even something like a Doran's Blade. But okay, going for the Death Claw. So gonna be sacrificing just the unsung hero. You get a trigger off the Dreaming Tree, but then you bring the Fiora Worthy into Mighty range. So just simply trying to get more rune economy developed out. Because a Death Claw is not a play we usually see on the offense, especially when you're trying to especially when you're trying to gain a rune and gain a card. I guess that's worth it in itself because Deathclaw also reads draw a card. So you get a card off the Dreaming Tree, you get a card off the Deathclaw. So I think he's just digging for more options this turn, which is fair enough. You always want to have more options available for the following turns. So I guess that's as good as you can get. But I was trying to get at, usually you try to play Deathclaw when you're pushing against the units, when you're trying to defend against certain units. But in this situation, netting 2 draws doesn't feel all that bad, and this player takes a good amount of notes. So maybe we should be the ones taking notes here at home. Do you just
Yeah,
take notes of what you've seen in hand? It makes sense given the fact that it's a baited hook. So if you do all the numbers correctly, you're able to accurately predict, not super
yeah,
accurately, but you're able to have a good idea of what's left in the deck, right?
yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's checking everything he has, so he knows everything that's in the deck.
Those notes look a
Uh,
little bit too much if you ask me. It looked like he had all 40 cards and he's checking what he's seen and what he hasn't seen. Is that legal?
I mean, any notes are legal so far as long as they are not imported from before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's honestly that's pretty smart. He's not. I think that's why he's here right now. He's not letting anything go to chance, and yeah, I like his place.
Yeah, on top of that, we did miss the Fiora Worthy triggering on herself, allowing her to retreat back as we keep bringing back to it, not letting Draven get those simple conquers. Of course, there's just that Treasure Hunter in the back line, so I wouldn't blame him to try to push up forward because he conquered now. It would just be simply to try to hold and not let the Treasure Hunter get a simple conquer going up to 4 points on the following turn. If he has something like a simple might increase, remember the Fiora Set 1 champion does have shield, so not only do you get the might increase from your combat spells, you also get the shield 1 once you pass that mighty status condition, of course. So that's something that he has to play around. So does push up to Dreaming Tree, and it is Dreaming Tree, of course. So if you do have that infamous punch first, you're able to get a +1 draw on top of that. So that's not the worst
Yeah,
position. So I like what Fiora is doing so far, but it's still looking a little bit of an uphill climb for her.
exactly. She lacked some really good plays in the beginning. She was able with that. I think that um, Death Grip and Unsung Hero combo was really good, um, adding tons of value overall. Now let's see if she can use that to her advantage in the 2 3 following turns.
Yeah, it's hard to give a bit of insight as we did in game one because we haven't been able to see the full hand coming out from Fiora. And, speaking of seeing the full hand, the Mind Splitter might have just been a great addition from the sideboard. We saw the grand finals champion from Fuzhou use these Mind Splitters to perfection, and we're seeing them now. Not only are you building a fortress on that Targon's Peak, but now you're able to take down the most impactful card from Fiora's hand, and that's spells, that's gears, that's units, any card you want. That's what makes Mind Splitter so
Yeah, and
incredibly powerful.
I think I see a set brawler, and I think that would be a really good thing to take out, because how are you going to push into that battlefield without the likes of set brawler?
Yeah, and Lyra, that's a hand. I'm seeing two Riposte, a Matron, a Brawler, a Unsung, and a Challenge currently in the hand. So he had some gas. He had a little bit of gas, but I agree with you. I think Set Brawler is just such an impactful card every time it hits the board, especially because we do have that Fiora worthy as well. So that should be the likely target. Another one to consider could be Challenger Matron, but Brawler is just such a good card. That has to be the clear option. And given the fact that he takes out he's gonna be taking out Matron.
No, he's siding. I think he's siding Riposte and Ted, so that it's one of them. But he's going to choose.
It had to be, right?
Yeah,
I think everyone can agree at home. It had to be the Set Brawler removed from hand, because if that Set Brawler was probably the only best bet of getting through the Targon's Peak, and it is just getting a bit too carried away. Just 2 units. I mean, basically just a single unit. If you could get Fiora into the range of 1 more might with a Pit Rookie or something, we didn't get to see it in hand, and you didn't draw it. It looks like you drew into the baited hook. Do you dare sacrifice one of your Fioras to see something off the top? You're only able to see a 4 or a 5, but I don't think you want to do that to the Fiora worthy, so it doesn't seem too likely. This position that Draven has locked up for himself is looking like it might take him all the way over to the 8th victory score, because I am just not seeing, after the back of a Mind Splitter play, you lost the only thing that could have perhaps brought you back in, because even with the Set Brawler, I think this is just too big, right? 7 plus 6 plus the 4, that's 17, plus the 2, 19, plus the 1, 20 total might on Targon's Peak. Even a Set Brawler pumped up 3 times is not getting there.
And but look, that could change a lot of things, because if you can manage to get your hands on a Honest Dragon or something like that, that can change a lot of things.
Yeah, it could change a lot of things. He's trying to get some good equipments. That's something we haven't seen anything of in this game number 2. Where are the Doran's Blade? More importantly, where are the BF swords and challenge coming out? So Fiora challenging the overzealous fan, taking away the ability essentially by not trading, but taking it out in general. So 4 might on the 2 might, and you get the +1 draw. What is going to be hit off the top of the deck? I would love to see. Imagine it was another Set Brawler, but I didn't actually get to see what it was. Did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I think, as you said, a Set Brawler or a BF sword would be the 2 best picks here, and that would be a good time to talk about that combo that you said, where the BF sword goes onto the unsung hero, and you use then the baited hook, so that you get full value. There it is.
Speak of the devil, the exact card he needed. Because think about this, guys. BF sword, you can attach it onto unsung hero. You trigger the legend ability, so you're able to ready it from the champion. You get a rune. The question is, I think you do for unsung hero simply to draw 2, or in this situation, you bring Fiora up to a 7, you gank over, and then you just take some units there. I think unsung hero and take down a Noxus Hopeful and a Treasure Hunter, but honestly, when we break it down like that, it just doesn't feel too good, regardless of what he does. Let's see what the likely target is going to be for this BF sword. it looks like it's going to be the ganking Fiora. So entering that threshold, triggering the legend, and now ganking is online. Shield not going to be applied. Deflect not going to really matter in this situation. So you're swinging it for 7, but passes the turn. Interesting.
Yeah, that I can understand. Maybe you want the ability to have your baited hook so that you can go in with Fiora, get the trade, get back the sword onto the unsung hero, get back in, and do everything in one turn so that you can do as much damage as possible.
Oh man, I'm really liking what you're saying, right? You take a couple units down with the first Fiora, the BF sword reattached to unsung. You send in a couple more units plus the 2 draws, and now you have a full readied runes available on that turn. So I think I think Fiora player is thinking 1 or 2 turns ahead, specifically so just that next immediate turn. So I'm liking what he has available to him in terms of options of play lines. But let's see if Draven could try to stop it and not let things go so easy, because we're not taking into consideration the exact math, but just like decently good plays in general, right?
Yeah, I think so. Um, we don't know. This time we don't know what's in hand. So we can actually think like the players. Uh, I mean, we know what's in Fiora's hand, but we don't know what's in Draven's hand. So we can think like the Fiora player without knowing what she should or shouldn't do.
You know, and the chat brings up an excellent point. It feels on paper like a decently good play, right? Conquer, or not conquer, but trade some units here, trade some units there. But that's going to be netting Draven a draw every single combat win. And this is a line I did not expect whatsoever. Going to be establishing the Draven champion and the Kaiser survivor, building up an impressive back line, saying, you know what? I know Fiora struggles dealing with baseline units. So, I'm just going to retreat it for now and take conquers as I can. You're only most likely going to be able to go up to 5 total points this next turn. If I could continue to conquer 2 times every turn, I will be able to close out this game in the next 2 games. So I like what he's thinking, because when else can you play out a Kaiser and a Draven on the same turn and feel comfortable completely tapped out? I think that was a great play by Draven, and it could bear fruits going forward as he gets another turn, and even more so as he's looking to close things out on that final 6th to 8th push, because I don't think Fiora could build any kind of defense if we're taking all that might into account. It's gonna take like a double punch first, a call to glory, a little bit more than that on top of that.
Yeah, and I mean that baited hook could do maybe some good with Honest Dragon or something like that. Let's see.
All
He's got in
right.
mind.
Baited hook is going to come online. Doesn't seem like he has the best options for something like a baited hook, but we did see Harness Dragon. We talked about it's a bit tougher for Fiora to reach all the way in the base, but Harness Dragon is not only able to target battlefield, but also the base. But we're talking about just removing a single unit. Most likely going to be the biggest one there in that Mind Splitter, but even if you take one out of the equation, Draven is still feeling rather good about his position. We're approaching the 55-minute mark very shortly. If this goes to a game 3, this might be one of the games where we had big breaks. We could be seeing an hour and a half minute round. The matron coming down. I only remember, was it another unsung hero in the trash? It looks like it was.
Oh, I need to not use the baited hook effect, which is not a weird play, but something to consider.
Yeah, just playing out perhaps for the future, because if Fiora goes down, you take some trades for it, you get the BF sword later, but like we said before, that's just going to be draw after draw for the Draven, so it's almost like a lose-lose situation. Draven seems to be running away with the game just alone looking at the current board state. equal in numbers, but not equal in might, of course. And we've seen the hand for Fiora. We haven't seen the full hand, and we're taking a little glimpse of it now. I'm seeing that fight or flight, which could pose a problem for Fiora on some kind of defensive push or some defensive anything, honestly. Picks up even a stack deck at that. He might just go ahead and play it out right now to see more options for this turn, but does have 8 runes to work with. The craziest card, if he ended up playing another Mind Splitter, he might as well just scoop things up, but does elect to play that stack deck that we were talking about.
Yeah, and I think like I'm wondering if like trying to get that baited hook onto the matron and then uh, the set, getting a set or something like that. Oh wait, didn't he miss the trigger from Targon too?
Yeah, perhaps he's just saying it doesn't even matter because my hand, I have enough runes to play it. Usually when a player misses Targon's peak, it's just because they don't have full use of it. Because if they did, they probably would remember, as they are in that top 16 position. Or, of course, sometimes it just slips your mind. But I think I'm right there with you. He might have forgotten. But with 4 runes, you have at least a repose. Or at the minimum, you could hard cast a Call to Glory. A Repose Hidden Blade doesn't feel all that bad, but it's just not the winning lines this Fiora player, as I would expect of a winning Fiora player in this game too. It looks like Draven, as we keep saying over and over again, looking to be in that driver's seat and just doing a couple math. He's saying, I conquered 1. Do I want to go up to 6? He definitely does. So deciding what units he's going to be able to push into this Fiora, and decides on the Forerunner and the Mind Splitter, it sounds like. So swinging in for a total of 13 might. That should be enough, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, even with the punch first, you're only going up to 12. So I think he's perfectly calculating what he has in his hand. So just going to be taking out the Mind Splitter. The BF Sword, as expected, goes back to the base. I think this is exactly what they have in mind, though, allowing it to reattach to the Unsung Hero. And maybe you baited hook, as you know, the 1-2 combo that we talked as early as we were talking earlier on could come to fruition going forward, because we see the Unsung Hero, the BF Sword, and everything that ties it together in that baited hook. So does he hit a Harness Dragon? And is that even enough to bring this momentum back in Fiora's favor? It just seems a little bit too late for that.
Yeah, I don't think so, because even with that, I don't see how she can retake. And that's why I would have loved to see Hook on the Matron try to get a set brawler that could potentially have actually made a difference and push for 12, 16 might.
Yeah, oh man, the Ferris Forerunner number 2 hitting the board. So if it was difficult to deal with the first time, it's definitely going to be really problematic to take down more than 1 down. And if you do, you don't end up winning on the next turn, because the most you can get is up to 7, of course. You're going to have to deal with 12 total might of individual 3 might mech tokens on the clapback. So this is looking even better for Draven. I actually didn't see that he had that in hand. So let's see what he's able to keep up. I wouldn't blame him to keep up at least these last 3 runes. And he does remember the Targon's Peak. So going up to 5 runes available for a fight or flight. Something like the rebukes we saw in that initial game. So let's just see, does Fiora have something in mind? Will this baited hook even grant him more options? Because you do have a +2 draw, and you could hit a Harness Dragon. But with the double Forerunner, like we mentioned, the victory is feeling out of grasp for her, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you can potentially equip several times that BF Sword and make wonders of it. Because you go like this, and then you can sacrifice it with the yeah, exactly, the baited hook, and then reattach that BF Sword. There are some options. Let's see.
Yeah, so
Right now
floating a
that
rune
was
twice. Let's see what he hits off the top of this deck. He could It could be a good hit if he hits something like a set brawler, but an
Oh,
action.
and there it is. The set brawler.
Okay. Okay, that's step one. Set brawler with a BF sword could go up to 11 might, right? There's 12 might on the Forerunner, but honestly, just the simple fact that you're only going up to 7, there's just the best you can do is just set up a wall. I feel like in Dreaming Tree, right? You go up to actually, I don't think you could do everything here. You can't take down the Targon's Peak and build that wall unless you build it on Targon's Peak. But then the 12 plus the 6, 18, 22 for the hopeful +1 going up to 23 on the clapback. And not taking into account the fighter flags of rebukes. This is tricky. There could be a world, but I don't envy the position of this Fiora player whatsoever, honestly.
Same here. And still has to deal with 5 runes up for the Draven player, which might, I mean, probably has Fight or Flight, Rebuke, and so on. I don't think you attach the BF sword to your set because of this. I think you want first to attach it to the Matron or the Unsung Hero, even better, maybe, and push in with several units so that you can be sure to remove everything. While even if you're taking Rebuke or Fight or Flight, I know that he has at least one riposte, and his opponent knows it too, right? Because he used the Mind Splitter. Would rather keep your riposte for as long as possible. So yeah, he's going to elect to use that.
Yeah, quite the complicated turn, which is why he's thinking very carefully, because perhaps there is some kind of window that you can bring this, because we are talking about going up to 6. Or no, you already conquered that one. We are talking about just keeping a point hold, but your opponent going up to 7, and he's saying, do you dare to try to conquer? So I think he's going for the game plan as we said before. Can he hold? But you know, Draven's going up to 8 before you. So this is tricky.
Exactly. Would it be one point ahead? That would totally make sense. But now, how do you manage to...
It's almost like he's just trying to go for not losing the next turn. But if you think a couple turns ahead, how are you not losing on your turn? You know what I mean by that is the hold on the Ferris Forerunner, because you have the set brawler. Wait a second, perhaps that's what he has in mind.
I know why he's doing that. Yeah, I know why he's doing that, is to not proc the 2 Forerunner and to not have to deal with the D6 might twice.
Okay, I think he figured out something, because I did see a punch first. So let's try to do a little bit of the quick maths, right? The BF sword, is that on the Unsung Hero? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So you can kill it and equip it to whatever that would then become mighty, and then you can trigger the Fiora ability. The set will become mighty through his own ability, being able to be readied if he gets a Fight or Flighted. He actually can punch for a lot of might next turn and keep the Vanguard for the Rebuke. There are actually some options.
Yeah, you know, the more we're getting deeper into this late game of this game too, the more I'm seeing some kind of potential light at the end of the tunnel for Fiora. Because honestly, like we said, let's do the quick math. There's 10 might just with the Matron and the Unsung, plus the 2 is 2. And then if you have more than just a punch first, that given that that's 17, that's definitely more than a +6 Draven plus the 4 plus the 2, or even 1, because the treasure hunter is just 1. So that's just 11 current might on the base for Draven. So it's gonna take a spinning axe and another spinning axe. I think that'll bring you up to what, 17 just to match a punch first. Did Fiora just edge it out? Because if Unsung Hero dies, well, it all lays on if Draven catch the game plan from Fiora. Because if Unsung Hero doesn't die and the BF sword stays on that battlefield, how are you getting...
But it will die because you got the baited hook.
Of course. So, you know, you have your own options to kill your unit. So you're guaranteed that +2 draw regardless. But how? So you just need to get over 12. What in this circumstance, if Draven tries to take your same play and just stacks everything into Targon's Peak, is that a viable option too?
Yeah, now it's really hard for Draven. He has to choose if he keeps all of his resources to um, attack the battlefield or trying to defend next turn, and uh, he probably does not want to split everything. Oh, and he's going to go for the hold, right?
Mm-hmm. It looks to be the only option available to him. If he's able to sacrifice the Unsung, hit a Harness Dragon, and then you need something like a Pit Rookie, or what else can add some more buffs to the set, right? Because you just need to use the set ability over and over and over again to try to take it down. But oh man, the more units he plays out, the slimmer chances he has. Of course, Set Brawler could hit something, or not Set Brawler, the beta hook. I guess the best hit has to be the Harness Dragon, but you're only going to be able to deal with a single unit. Did he already push up the 3 units in base? Or I don't think they're officially on the battlefield yet, right? They're just really close to it.
Yeah. But now he's not going to push into that other battlefield. And so you could have the Pit Rookie for 5 being readied by the Fiora because it goes mighty. The set going in.
Oh my goodness. We thought the wall was being built from Fiora, but instead it's going to be built by Draven. That's I don't even want to do the math, but we'll slowly but surely do the math, right? That's 12 from the Forerunners, 5 from the Darius, so bringing it up to 17. 1 apiece for the Treasure Hunters, bringing it up to 19. The 4 from the Hopeful, that's going to be 23. Another 4 for the Kaiser, bringing it up to 27. And then there's 1 more unit, the Draven. So 27 plus 6, I believe. What is that? Is that 33 total might? I hope I did that right. That just seems a bit too tall of a task if you ask me. You need a triple punch first, a double to triple buff on set. First things first, baited hook and see if you hit at least a Harness Dragon, I want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Harness Dragon would go a long way, killing potential. I think you kill Darius because if your opponent has that 1 curse card and he's got that hidden card also, Darius goes up to 7, so that's the big of might.
I think so. All right,
So
guys, let's see what he has at the top. The Call to Glory could be very impactful. The Pit Rookie, I thought for some reason he was drawing 2 first. If he would have drawn 2, look at the draws he would have had, Leroy. A Pit Rookie and Call to Glory would have been so nice to have because you're able to order it that way, right? Or do you have to proc baited hook first? It
you
might
have
be
to
the way.
baited first. Yeah, because else it's not dead yet.
Of course.
And oh, you gotta put it first, no?
Yeah, it looks like it. So did end up getting some kind of value from that, but he really wishes he would have top decked something like a Harness Dragon. So right now set is currently at 8 might. That just sounds so minuscule when we're talking about the 33 might on that Dreaming Tree. How are you taking it down at 7-7? Funny enough, 70 minutes in this round, this game number 2 going to distance. I see now players like these, matchups like these is exactly why we have a bit of those extended breaks throughout the intermissions. He's trying to do the math. Double punch first brings it up to 18. The BF sword 21. You're getting close. The Fiora 24. If you can ready the Fiora to gank over, that's 29. Leroy, we're getting close. We're getting really close. Pit Rookie to ready the Fiora. Whoa, wait a minute. Do you have enough runes for everything? Leroy, if Fiora wins this, we are going crazy here. So Pit Rookie on the set. I think, yeah, that actually adds more might. Or does it add more might?
I think it does, yes, because you can also ready the pit rookie through one of the BF.
Oh, you could ready the Fiora with one of the BFs, you mean? Because you get more might from ganking over, I believe.
Yeah, but you can ready the pit rookie on with one of the BS and the Fiora with the other.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. And then you're swinging it for more. So at the end of the day, it's just raw power. And that might just be a fight or flight to end all his troubles as long as you keep 2 runes available. Do you have the riposte? We saw it earlier. Did he still keep it in
Yeah,
hand?
yeah, I'm sure because it doesn't have any discard, right? So I think yeah. So I don't want to do the math because I don't want to get a headache.
You know, I am developing a little bit of a headache. It could be all the math I'm doing. I might have to slow down on that
Okay, so
that
that's
department.
all right. 12, 14, 7. Oh no, but he's not gonna choose to.
Ah, I thought he was gonna go on Fiora to activate the worthy so you could gank over, but
Yeah,
oh,
isn't that a miss? Hey,
is there a first mate maybe? No, I don't know what he has in mind. He had a bit more options, I want to say, in terms of swinging in with
oh, no, okay, he said he just wants no, okay. He just wants to remove right now. Then the set dies. Then he can re-equip the weapons and then ready. Yeah, we
That's
got the
brilliant.
play.
Of course. Of
We
course. We are forgetting what equipments do
yeah.
best. They return to the base to get reattached one more time. You're so right. Look at all those units he's taking it. You know, Leroy, when we're talking about the BF swords getting
He's got
put,
it. He's got
I
it.
think he's got it.
it.
Right, because 12 and 113, you repose the fight or flight.
He still
Fiora
has
swinging in for
5
7.
plus 7. He still has 12, and the riposte, which would be 14.
Oh, and a punch
No,
first. He got it,
No, he's got
Leroy.
it.
If we're
He
doing
got
the
it. He
numbers
got
right,
it.
I think he might have
Let's go,
just
guys.
snuck one under.
Let's go, guys. That's one less Draven into top 8.
Let's
And
see. He
that's one more
pays
Fiora.
1 and is going to be paying 2. So a punch first added on Fiora. So the mighty status condition and the dreaming tree, mind you, going to be picking up. This guy is playing out of his mind, figuring out the exact line he needs. A lot of people wouldn't be able to do what this player is doing, but phenomenal sequencing. Going to be getting an additional draw and being very careful at leaving 2 options, 2 runes available to him. So the punch first going to be crossing the mighty. Fiora worthy does have to go online because you want to get ganking online. So yeah, he's pointing at Fiora worthy, readies it, and now you could go ahead right now because of the punch first. You are at what, 9?
Equip both of the BF sword again, get in, then re-equip them, then get in again, and then go kick his ass.
That is what he has in mind, but even just the BF swords right now are enough to take it down because 9 plus 3 is the 12, bringing it all the way to 15. He's going to be conceding. GG. Unbelievable play from this Fiora. I would have never expected it. We were talking the entire game too. Fiora's on the back foot, and look what ended up coming to fruition. The Fiora will be moving forward into a top 8 position, and I am loving what I saw. If that Fiora was able to win from that bad position, I want to say, this Fiora might just have what it takes to take it all the way, and we might have ourselves a first ever Fiora Spiritforged champion. But of course, I don't want to get ahead of myself. There's the other Ezreal, but that was an amazing match, Leroy. What did you think about that?
Can we get Fiora versus Ezreal in final, please?
Yeah, guys, what did we think about that? That might have been the most intricate match I've ever seen in the history of Riftbound. Just that last turn alone, you're trying to do the math to get over 33 might in a fight or flight, and you actually get it done.